because I just went live for you guys. And hold on. Can someone give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? There's only one person in here, so please just put a thumbs up if you can hear me because I just did a whole live and y'all couldn't hear me. I'm so pissed. Oh my gosh. That's wild. Hold on. That just pissed me off. Okay, so hopefully y'all can hear me. I just did a whole live and y'all couldn't hear me. So, yeah, there's that. Maybe that's a sign because I ain't gonna lie. That live, I was a little bit all over the place because I really don't have a topic for y'all today. I want to just come on here and say that I enjoyed my week. I had a great week. I had an even better weekend. And I want to just ask, how often do you guys choose joy over dwelling over your current circumstance? And I feel like I can sit and dwell in my grief and let it consume me, let it take over how I think, how I interact with people, whether I choose to interact with people or not, or stay in my bedroom, or I can just tell myself, Devontae will want me to live life and find joy in life. Like, just like how we were in the hospital for 10 months and I made it my duty to make staying in the hospital an experience, one like no other. Finding moments of joy, celebrating 50 days, 100 days, 120, like doing things of that nature. And I do find myself, when I am intentional and I'm telling myself to choose joy over grief or choose joy over failed friendships, I do put myself in a better headspace because I really had a great past week and my weekend was equally as good. And I didn't know it was going to be. There were things I could do this weekend, but I didn't have any desire to do any of them. Everything that did take place were things that weren't planned and came, let me just make sure it's still lit up, came out of the cut. You know what I mean? Like it was unexpected. But I told myself when things did arise, like, I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm going to do my best to try to enjoy it. I'm going to do my best to not think about the death of my son, but think about his life and how much he lived and how much he was loved, how special he was. And then just doing that, it's been helpful. Now, don't get me wrong. I cried moments before I got on this live. The last live, the first live I did, I bawled my eyes out and was just crying and yelling out to God. So I don't want this to be confused that with joy doesn't come tears from sorrow. I just think you're choosing to not dwell there. You know what I mean? In the sorrow. And I wasn't even going to go live. I was feeling like I just want to go lay down because crying's exhausting. Okay. So if you've ever just been crying your eyes out, you know you are drained after. All you want to do is go to sleep. All you want to do is sleep. All you want to do is drink some water to rehydrate. So that's how I started to feel because of how I was crying. I was like, I don't have it in me to go live, but it's Let Me Talk Tuesday. And oh my goodness, I got on here and I didn't even do my intro. It's your girl. She needs no intro. Guys, I just did a whole video, okay? I'm really upset. And you know what? This comes with being a creator. There's going to be technical difficulties, but I'm choosing not to dwell on them because y'all almost weren't about to get another video because I was about to say, F it, I did it. They can't hear it, read lips. That's really where my mind went, okay? But I was like, you know what? No. You're going to face challenges like this. What are you going to do? Just say to hell with to your audience? No. I don't care if there's one person on here or if it becomes hundreds of people. I want to give y'all all the same version of me. You know what I mean? From the very beginning. Not only because I get a crazy following. You know what I mean? So, here I am. Giving you another video, hoping to God there's audio. Because if there is not audio, I do not see myself trying for a third time. Okay? I might just make a post and just ask questions. But there will be no more talking. Okay? So we are clear. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to highlight it's just been a great week. And despite receiving some news last week that really threw me, okay, like just saying it still like or thinking it in my head is like what? But despite receiving the news and despite a friendship being severed and despite my trust issues being through the roof, I still had a great week and a weekend. Like the weekend, to have a consecutively good weekend, like Friday was good, Saturday was good, Sunday was good. And then the bonus day, the holiday, yesterday, Monday, was spectacular. Actually, it was supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, okay? That's how good it was. With the family. Shout out the family, okay? Shout you guys out, because I needed that family time, for real. So that's all this live is, for real. It's just talking about your choices. Are you choosing joy over sorrow? And if you're not, how can you? Like, what are some things you can identify and be like, yo, that was really a good day, or that was good? Because I just told myself each and every day that I'm going, at the start of the day, this is going to be a good day. And I'm realizing I'm not stressing about things that normally make me stress. I think my tolerance for things have changed. Like, Devontae's up here. Like, his death, like, what? What the hell can compare? Like, be friggin' for real. So all the other F stuff that come along is just like, it may pile up, but I'm not even being realistic because I'm not infinity and beyond high. You know what I mean? So it's like, Devontae's really up there. And everything else is like, it's piling up, but there's nothing matching where he is, if that makes sense, in terms of where my grief is and the loss of this, what this loss means to me. So any other loss that comes, it will hurt, but it's not the same capacity, not by a long shot, not by a long shot. So it's like, I'm hurt by what took place what I found out last week, but it's just like, I can't process that hurt, for real. And I'm grateful that I can't, because it's allowing me to still have these moments of like, I'm choosing joy. Let's get up. Let's be your own security blanket. Let's be your own source of comfort. Let's be your own. Why would a phone call come in right now? This is gonna mess up everything. Hold on. Hopefully I did not mess with the sound. Guys, we're just going through a lot today. I just want to get through this video. I just want to say, first of all, I am learning as I go. and I'm going to make mistakes. I may be entertaining. I may not be entertaining. I may say something that strikes a chord. I may not. I want all the feedback in the world. Give it to me, okay? Don't be afraid to talk to your girl, okay? Because you know I ain't afraid to talk to you. So talk to me, okay? But yeah, as I was saying, I'm just choosing to show up for myself. Because I think I've showed up for so many people and I get hurt so often. Oh, guys, if you knew how I've been hurt. I get hurt so often and I show up for people. I think about people and I'm considerate, and I sometimes people don't show up for me, but there are times when I have some great friends who do show up for me, that show up and show out. So shout out to you guys. You know who you are. Pat yourself on the back. But sometimes I don't. Sometimes people don't, you know? And I realize I need to start showing up for me. I need to be my biggest support system. And I know that's like, what? How can you be your own support system? But you can. I can be my own support system. I can set boundaries so I know what not to allow moving forward from individuals so they can't have the ability to hurt me or whatever. And I'm talking about realistic boundaries. I'm not saying don't trust anyone, because that's not a realistic boundary. You should trust someone. You know what I mean? But set up boundaries. And that's just one example. This next segment's not about this, so I'm not about to get in detail. But I just want to try to show up for myself. So if you take anything from this segment today, show up for yourself and figure out what that means. I'm still navigating through what that means and looks like for me. But like I said, one of them is setting up boundaries. Another one would be being okay with I think my struggle is I expect me from everybody else, or like people that are in my life. And you got to be okay with understanding that people are not going to show up the way you want them to show up. But if you tell them how you need them to show up and they choose not to even acknowledge that, then you need to take that in consideration. Because it's one thing to not be able to show up the way I want because you don't know. You know what I mean? Or you're not aware. You're not educated. And when I say educated, I mean like lack of it. So you're ignorant to it. But if I explain to you how to show up and there's no like follow up, or you don't even try, you're telling me that you can't show up for me the way I need you to show up. And I think it's okay when you tell someone, this is what I need. And if they say outright, I'm not sure if that's in my capacity to do that. You need to be okay with that. And you also need to make a decision if you're going to maintain that friendship or not. Because if they're doing something that's like you can't let go of or move forward from, especially when you're grieving, because like we're hypersensitive to everything. Like, let's be honest. We are hypersensitive to everything when you are like in the thick of grief. So if you know with your grief that this is what you need from this individual, and if they're blatantly saying they can't do it, then you need to be okay with understanding like maybe that's not the friendship or relationship you need to maintain, because it's going to cause you to struggle and it's going to cause that person to struggle, because they're going to consistently be a disappointment to you, because you're going to continuously have a certain expectation that they would never be able to live up to. And I think that was my issue. And that's why it's important to create boundaries. And that's what I'm working on. But even that's a choice. I'm choosing to do that, to protect my heart, to protect myself, and to show up for myself. And all that ultimately will lead to me having more joyful moments in my life. And that's how becomes full circle. So I just want to just say, everything starts with a choice. Decide to show up for yourself. Decide to tell yourself, yes, my grief is great. Yes, my troubles are significant. Yes, but I'm choosing not to dwell on that and look for moments of joy. I'm choosing to still highlight my wins, because no matter how small they are, because a lot of my wins are small right now because of what I lost was so great. I don't think I could ever receive. I've said this early on when he passed. I was like, when somebody was like, "Oh, God has something great in store for you for this," and I think they were trying to say something comforting, but I'm just like, what can possibly happen that could ever make my son's death make sense? I don't see that. There's no relationship. There's no amount of money. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing that I could be like, you know what? It all makes sense now that Devontae had to die at 17. No, nothing's gonna make me say that. So I'm not saying these wins are gonna replace how your loss, but it's gonna make going through your grief so much more bearable. So much more bearable. I mean, I've smiled and laughed more this past week than I have since Devontae's passed. And it's so crazy because I got hit with such a bombshell that I thought was gonna just leave me in such a bad space. But I didn't. I underestimated the weight of Devontae's loss because there's nothing that can compare. You get what I'm saying? So it's your girl. She needs no intro, and she's about to be out, yo, because your girl is tired. So I hope you enjoyed this segment. I think it might have been short, but I just needed to get you guys something. The other one would have been longer, and I had a lot more to say, but I didn't want to leave you guys hanging. So here it is. Let me talk Tuesday.